Welcome to this tutorial on avoiding plagiarism and making good choices as a writer. In this module, there's a video about what plagiarism is as an ethical issue. Here at USF, plagiarism is considered a breach of academic integrity, which is why it's important to learn how to avoid plagiarizing. Consequences for plagiarism can range from a reduction of credit for a given assignment to receiving a double F grade in a course. Graduate students may face academic dismissal for receipt of a double F grade. A double F on a transcript indicates that you failed the course because of some breach of ethics. A link to the full list of sanctions for offenses at USF is available in this module. So, other than not wanting to get in trouble for stealing ideas, why do writers cite their sources? Citations clearly identify the information that you've gathered in the course of your research and gives credit to those authors. We also cite our sources because we may have readers that want to know where we found our information in case they want to follow up on any of the information presented in our work. Good, reliable sources lend authority to a work, and they provide support for your own ideas and arguments. These are all good reasons why you would cite your sources in a research paper. People might think that plagiarism is simply not using quotation marks when you take a direct quotation or idea from an author, but it's not that simple. There are several types of plagiarism. The example just mentioned is verbatim plagiarism, but there are many other types. Mosaic plagiarism is a kind of patchworking in which parts from one or many sources are cobbled together with some of the writer's own words, but with no adequate attribution. Mosaic plagiarism is often the copy and pasting kind of plagiarism people do hastily to try to put together information. Inadequate paraphrasing is where a writer is paraphrasing, but they only change a few words in an unsuccessful attempt to paraphrase, and they end up with something less than an actual reworked statement of the original text. Even with a proper citation, an inadequate paraphrase can be considered plagiarism if it's too close to the original text that you're trying to restate in your own words. Another example of plagiarism is the uncited paraphrase. Even when something is paraphrased properly, if it hasn't been cited, that's considered plagiarism. An uncited quotation is a direct quote that has the proper quotation marks, but no citation included. This type of plagiarism is often done in error rather than out of an ethical breach. For more information on types of plagiarism, see the link below the videos. Overall, paraphrasing is one of the areas where a student can get into trouble, either because they haven't cited the source when they are putting it in their own words, or if the paraphrasing is too close to the original material. Let's talk about some tips for paraphrasing correctly. Your first step is to read the source material. Identify the main idea or ideas in the source and restate them using your own words. Always make sure to cite the source. It's probably a good idea to not have the source in front of you as you restate the main ideas in your own words, because you might be tempted to lift key phrases or syntax that the original author used, and this can improve your paraphrasing. Another issue you might want to be aware of is about common knowledge. Common knowledge encompasses the kinds of facts and figures that it can be safely assumed are known by most people. Common knowledge information does not usually have to be cited. Here are some examples of common knowledge. Tallahassee is the Florida state capital. The U.S. entered World War II after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. And the mockingbird is the state bird of Florida. Sometimes it's not so easy to determine what is and isn't common knowledge, but the truth is you don't have to cite something that everybody commonly knows. Your teachers might say if you're in doubt about it, then cite it. It's always better to oversight than undercite. It's important for you as a writer to know what you already know. Common knowledge can be a moving target. What a fifth grader knows or doesn't know is very different than what a college student knows or doesn't know. Some writing experts advise you to write down everything you know when starting a research project, because that will help you identify your own common knowledge. And then everything that you learn that you hadn't documented about your own common knowledge, you know you're going to have to cite. So it requires a little bit of forethought on your part to try and figure out what you need to cite and what you don't need to cite. We're going to end this video and say thank you for listening, keep calm, and remember to cite your sources. And ask a librarian if you need help with questions about how to cite things properly.